Welcome to the Interim Assessment Overview and Data in CERS video. This video is part of the Introduction to CERS for Teachers video series. The CAASPP and ELPAC interim assessments are available to California local educational agencies at no cost as part of California's comprehensive assessment system. The interim assessments are available year-round, and the interim assessments for the new school year become available in late summer. The CAASPP and ELPAC interim assessments are computer-based, but are not computer adaptive. This means they are fixed-form assessments, so every student gets the same items. There is one exception to the computer-based setup, which will be mentioned when the ELPAC interim assessments are discussed in a few moments. It is important to note that some interim assessments contain items that require local hand scoring. Interim assessments can inform and support teaching and learning in multiple ways. The intended purpose is to evaluate student knowledge and skills during the year. Interim assessments can be administered in a standardized manner or non-standardized manner. When teachers administer interim assessments, they are prompted to indicate, within the test administrator interface, the manner of administration, either as standardized or non-standardized. Administering the interim assessments in a standardized manner is when students take the assessment individually in the same formal manner as a summative assessment. Usually, this is after a unit of instruction. This is an example of an assessment of learning. Examples of administering the interim assessments in a non-standardized manner can include displaying the interim assessment items for the whole class to discuss, or printing an item for a small group of students to work through together. These are examples of interim assessments used for learning. The California Educator Reporting System, or CERS, displays the selected manner of administration. While there is no difference in the results provided for the two types of administration, teachers should consider the manner of administration when evaluating assessment results. Use of the interim assessments can also improve student familiarity with the testing interface, with different types of items, and with accessibility resources. The resources available to support the interim assessments allow teachers to become more familiar with the content being assessed, the ways in which students are assessed, and the scoring rubrics or scoring criteria that are used to evaluate student responses. There are interim assessments for 4 subject areas: Smarter Balanced English Language Arts, or ELA, Smarter Balanced Math, the California Science Test, or CAST, and the English Language Proficiency Assessments for California, or ELPAC. Let's examine how the interim assessments are organized. Interim assessments for Smarter Balanced ELA and Math are organized by the content they assess. The Interim Comprehensive Assessments, called ICAs, test the same content and report scores on the same scales as the summative assessments. California currently uses the Smarter Balanced Adjusted Form summative assessments. The ICAs use the full form summative blueprints, so they actually take longer than the summative assessments to administer. ICAs can be administered up to 3 times a year. Each ICA includes 1 or more items that require hand scoring. Interim assessment blocks, called IABs, focus on smaller sets of related concepts and provide more detailed information for instructional purposes. They generally have from 6 to 18 items and can be administered within 1 class period. They can be administered an unlimited number of times. However, there is currently only 1 version of each IAB, so students would experience the same items if the assessment is given more than once. Focused IABs, called FIABs, generally assess 1 to 3 assessment targets, with between 1 to 15 items focused on very specific concepts. CAST interim assessments, or IAs, are organized in 2 ways. In elementary school, they are organized by grade level performance expectations, so the CAST IAs for grades 3, 4, and 5 assess all 3 science domains: Earth and Space Sciences, Life Sciences, and Physical Sciences. In middle school and in high school, the CAST interim assessments are organized by science domain, so there are 3 middle school and 3 high school CAST interim assessments, and each assesses 1 science domain. Earth and Space Sciences, Life Sciences, and Physical Sciences. There are 2 versions available for each interim assessment, called Form 1 and Form 2. Each CAASPP interim assessment includes 1 performance task with a constructed response that requires hand scoring. ELPAC IAs are organized by domain and grade or grade span. The ELPAC has interim assessments for each domain: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, for the following grades and grade spans: kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade span 3 through 5, grade span 6 through 8, grade span 9 and 10, and grade span 11 and 12. Speaking and writing are locally hand-scored by educators. Reading and listening are computer-scored. The ELPAC interim assessments are administered online to students, with few exceptions. The writing domain interim assessments for kindergarten through grade 2 are administered on paper, like their summative ELPAC counterpart. Each interim includes about half the number of items than on the summative ELPAC, with all summative task types covered between the 2 versions of each interim assessment, called Form 1 and Form 2. Here are the common data elements for both interim and summative assessments in CERS: the grade level assessed, average score for the group, number of students in the results, student score distribution by level, and individual student reports, also referred to as ISRs. For interim assessments, additional data and features are available, including the item viewer, which displays the question or task presented to the student, item information, for example, the standard, claim, and depth of knowledge, a key and distractor analysis, which includes an answer key and displays the number or % of students that have chosen each answer choice, rubric and exemplar information, student responses to items, and links to the Tools for Teachers website, which serves as the formative assessment component of our assessment system. Tools for Teachers includes professional learning and instructional resources that support teachers in implementing the formative assessment process during instruction. A common question about interim assessment data is, how long does it take for interim assessment data to appear in CERS? The answer has 2 parts. If the interim assessment requires no hand scoring, then the results will be available in CERS in about 20 minutes. However, if the interim assessment has any items that require hand scoring, then it takes about 20 minutes for the responses to be available in the teacher hand scoring system. About 20 minutes after all of the items have been locally hand scored and submitted, the results will appear in CERS. Thank you for watching the Interim Assessment Overview and Data in CERS video. The full video series title list and a link to the resource guide are located in the description of this video.